Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. I'm your host, Tamara. Today we are covering the graphic audio of one of our favorite books, Book 1 in the Mercy Thompson series, Mooncalled. If you would like to see this in video format without commercials, you'll need to head on over to Patreon and sign up. There's tons of content there for you to watch, including after shows, reading vlogs, and more. If you're listening on the Spreaker app, by signing up as a supporter, you have access to the after shows and other exclusive content audio only. If you prefer video, including vlogs, you'll need to head on over to Patreon instead. You can also join me and my two co-hosts over on the Book Club's app for even more book chats. Please subscribe and like the podcast wherever you're listening. If you'd like to reach out to me, you can find me everywhere at Shelf Addiction. Joining me today is feature co-host Casey from Heart Full of Ink. Welcome back, Casey.
Hello, hello. I'm so excited to be here today.
Yes, I think it's going to be a fun one.
Yes. Oh, definitely. Always.
Yes. Tell everyone where they can find you online.
You can find me at Facebook at Heartful of Ink, on Instagram at Casey_Heartful of Ink, or on my website, heartfulofink.com.
Okay, so before we get started, we'd like to remind you that as always with book chats, we talk full spoilers here. So spoiler alert, you have been warned. So today, Mooncalled, we have read the book, we have listened to the audiobook, we have read the graphic novel, and now we've listened to the graphic audio. Yes. So fourth or fifth time's the charm.
I mean, this is really like the 20th or the 100th time.
I kind of lost count. I mean, I guess that was being real conservative. Yeah, maybe 20th time is the charm. So first up, the stats, and we'll read the synopsis for those of you who may not know what Mooncalled is. You guys gotta find out. Mm-hmm. We're talking about Mooncalled, written by Patricia Briggs, narrated by a full cast. So many people, I will not tell you all their names. You'll need to look it up. Published August 14th, 2024 by Graphic Audio LLC. The approximate runtime is 7 hours. Casey, would you kindly read the synopsis?
Just as an FYI, the synopsis on the back of the book is different from the synopsis on the graphic audio.
It is?
It's different, yes.
Oh.
But I mean, it tells the same thing, but it is different.
Okay.
So, here is the graphic audio blurb. Mercy Thompson is a shapeshifter, and while she was raised by werewolves, she can never be one of them, especially after the pack ran her off for having a forbidden love affair. So she's turned her talent for fixing cars into a business and now runs a one-woman mechanic shop in the Tri-Cities areas of Washington state. But Mercy's two worlds are colliding. A half-starved teenage boy arrives at her shop looking for work, only to reveal that he's a newly changed werewolf, on the run and desperately trying to control his animal instincts. Mercy asks her neighbor Adam Hopman, the alpha of the local werewolf, for assistance. But Mercy's act of kindness has unexpected consequences that leave her no choice but to seek help from those she once considered family, the werewolves who abandoned her. Dun dun dun.
Yeah, that is different.
That is very different.
The werewolves that abandoned her?
Bran.
Well,
Bran ran her off.
He did. I get. Okay, yeah, okay.
They tell you the whole ass story right there, but not like the whole backstory, I guess.
Right, exactly.
That was.
So
I don't know if I like that description of the book.
I don't either. I like the original better because I was just reading it just now. I like the original better.
Yeah.
Okay, high level, before we dive into things, did you enjoy your second turn around the graphic audio lane? Did you like it?
Yes, this is much better than Clean Sweep.
Okay.
I did not have that weird peeing sound. Thank
Okay.
God. I think I'm too picky because I love the story, but there were just things about this that bothered me and annoyed me, and I'm like, this is just a me thing. I don't know if I can like actually tell people to avoid this because it's just me being weird.
Okay, that's fair. I enjoyed it a lot. There were some things I want to nitpick on, but high level, I liked it. It was really fast, but that's almost one of the things I didn't like is that it felt like, and we talked about this a little before we hit record, but the story was modified a little bit.
Like they changed that blurb. They cut out sentences, and some of it was like, yes, the dialogue tags that don't need to be repeated, but some of it, like on page 1, she was describing what she was doing with the car, and they just cut it out. I was
Right,
like,
because they
that's
had
3
car sounds.
sentences. Yeah.
Right, but we need to know. I mean, it wouldn't have hurt if the character had said it,
Yeah,
because
no,
we
it wouldn't
can't.
have hurt.
It's
but
not a movie. We can't see what she's doing,
Mm-mm.
so you still
No.
need some of the descriptives,
Yes.
about what you're seeing or doing.
Okay, so this one is 7 hours. How long is the original audiobook? Was it like 10 hours?
Actually, no, I don't think it was that long. So let me look right quick. Okay, so the original audiobook read by Lorelei King is 9 hours and 14 minutes.
Okay, so they cut out like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
That's still a lot. Like, they didn't cut any scenes, but they cut enough sentences that I wonder if that was like they just couldn't do more, or
I feel like when I listened to the Court of Thorns and Roses version, that was cut as well. Now, those books are really long, and they put those in 3 parts. That book was so long, it had 3 parts.
That's
so
wild.
Right, but they too had cut stuff, and I could tell it was blatant that things were cut. So I just think that is kind of almost how when people do adaptations for movies and TV shows, they just chop and chop what they think.
And chop, yeah.
Right. So I think
Thankfully,
they're just making...
we didn't lose any scenes. We just lost sentences.
They took some artistic choices, right?
Yes.
They said,
yes,
we don't really need her describing all of these things, or this one random sentence doesn't really go with the flow when people are talking together. So they just took stuff out.
Yeah.
But nothing important, though.
But how big of fans are we? And how many times have we read this book where both you and I said,
God.
Hey, wait a second. These sentences don't sound right. And then went to the book to check.
Huge fans. And I don't know. Okay, so Casey, you tell me how long it took you to check. How long did it take you?
Like page 1.
Okay, it took me a little longer. It took me like maybe 15 minutes of listening. Around 15 minutes, I'm like, wait a minute. This doesn't sound right.
Yeah,
right?
No,
so
I was on page 1 because I wanted to do a cute thing where I was rereading it, but no, I was like, wait a second.
No, yeah, I came back and I tried to find where I was in the book, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, this isn't... Okay, got it. And I don't know. I must have forgotten that the other book had done that as well, because I sure enough was expecting virtually word for word. I didn't expect...
I was expecting word for word. I didn't read Clean Sweep, so I can't say if that was edited at all.
Oh. Well, I don't expect things like, quote, Mac was a good man. I told him. You don't have to say I told him.
Yeah, you don't need to say stuff like that.
Yeah, so I expected all of that type of stuff. He said, she said, I said. I expected that stuff to be gone. But there were other, like you said, there were other things that were gone that I didn't expect. So
yeah, like the whole paragraph about the transmission was just cut down to like as soon as it was fixed or whatever, and it's then back to dialogue. And I was like, there's a paragraph missing right here.
I mean, we've read this so many times.
I've read it so many times.
Yeah, I barely even knew how to record the thing in Goodreads. I'm like, again? I gotta add another date? Again and again and again
and again and again.
Oh,
but
my
it's
God.
so good. It's such a good story that absolutely, like, listening to it this way, I actually picked up on a few details that I was like, wait a second. Now that we've read so far into the series and we're looking back, she has changed some details and she has changed some things. And it happens. You know, authors forget details, or they wrote the book so long ago and they just want to change it. So they do.
Like, does anything point out?
Apparently forced Charles's mother. Like, he saw her and was like, I'm just going to force the change on you and you're now my mate. And then we learn later in Wild Sign, like 18 books later, that's a no-no. And that's kind of what he did to Leah.
Another no-no, which we learn later. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And Leah gets so much more depth in that book, which is good. But
Which I still don't like her. I don't give a
No,
fuck.
not at all.
I don't care. I still like her. Like, Mercy was
Not
a
at
child.
all.
How you so mean to her? Like, she's a kid.
Any of the children, she was mean to Charles. I know she was traumatized at the time, but like...
Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, I'm with you. Like, some of the stuff that was like kind of, I guess I heard it differently. It was kind of like when Sam was like kind of having that chat with her in the hotel room, and I'm like, oh, this really seems like he really still likes her immediately. And I just don't remember it that way, but maybe it's because we're in a different space now.
Yeah.
And it's been so long since this book, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I'm like, wow. And she kind of still likes him still. And I'm like, oh shit. Like, yeah, that's right. So it kind of like gave me a different
There
lens.
were some feelings there.
Yeah.
But yes.
Yeah, she didn't want to hurt his feelings. She didn't want to really say, I don't like you anymore. Get out of here. But she didn't want to say, you know, and yeah, it was so cute. I'm like, oh,
it was cute.
I kind of think if Adam wasn't alive, maybe that could have worked out.
If Adam had died,
then
yeah, I think she and Samuel may have gotten back together.
They might have, because
or she
really
might have gone on adventures with Stefan and like just built that mystery machine and got off.
Oh my gosh!
Crime.
So the actor that was playing Stefan, that voice was strange to me for some reason.
I was very strange, but also I think my favorite, just because I was really glad he didn't have that weird Italian accent and he sounded young. And she kept talking about how he looked like he was 20.
Almost too young. He's a vampire. So I think in my mind, when I think about Stefan, he is more serious. Like, yeah, he has some jokes, but he's more serious. But this actor played him like he was always kind of like jovial and like, you know, he just pops up in a window like, hey, you know, I'm like, what? I said, is that what he was doing? Like, I feel like he was more serious.
I always thought he was kind of jovial in this book. And then when shit starts hitting the fan for him in Bloodbound in book 2, then he kind of goes on a downward spiral and it just gets worse and worse. So I saw him as like really light and happy in Mooncalled. And then slowly getting darker. But that was my perception.
Okay, well, if they keep the same actor, I want to see how that transforms as the books go on.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, Stefan is so moody and grumpy. I'm like, he's so happy.
Well, yeah, no, he gets really moody and grumpy later in the series. But I always thought he was really happy in book 1 with his Scooby-Doo machine. And then, like, you know, it gets abandoned, basically, because he's sad.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, all these scenes where he's kind of just, you know, and I had forgotten, like, wow. I mean, for someone that's read this book so many times, I'm like, oh, yeah, they did. She never been to the seas before. This was the first time, you know, and all the pack didn't know where Warren lived. I'm like, oh, all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, every time. How is it? It's almost like new every time, even though I'm able to identify when something is missing. How can two things like that be true at the same time?
Well, we're reading it in a different format, right? Like, even if you're listening to an audiobook, right now you're listening to a whole cast of characters, and each character is bringing something different. And so, you know, the new voice could trigger something where you're like, wait a second, Stefan's not this happy. Why are you acting happy?
Yeah, because it was very interesting. I mean, I had a good time with it. It was really fast to get through. Like, I think I did it in like, I don't know, a day and a half or something. It didn't take long.
What speed were you listening to it?
Well, see, here's the thing. Now, usually I listen to audiobooks around 1.5 or 1.8 or even 2, depending on the narrator. But because of the sound effects and the music, it got a little distorted to me, listening fast. So I listened at like 1.25 for a while, and it was still a little too slow. So for a little bit, I listened at 1.5. And then I wanted to back it off because the music started sounding weird. So
yeah. So no, I was listening at 1.3, 1.35. So it sped up just a little bit, but it was still slow enough that like the music sounded normal.
Yeah, because when I got to the higher speeds, I'm like, oh, okay, this don't sound right. Got to turn it down. And it wasn't the the actors. I was fine with their speed, you know, when it was faster.
Yeah.
It's just the music. I'm like, oh, it's disturbing. Disturbing is the right word. I'm like, what is this? And to be fair, it's not like they picked the best music choices to begin with.
Yeah,
So
some of those music choices were a little off or a little weird. Like there was classical music at one point, and I was like, this doesn't sound right.
Country music, classical music, weird times.
Stuff.
Yeah. And sometimes when the actors would be talking to each other, like I'm trying to think, maybe it was one of the times where Adam was talking to Mercy, and it almost sounded like it could have been a string of violins. Like,
I think they did that a few times to be like, there is romance between them. Let's play the violins. And I was like, this. The romance cheesy. Is there, but it's not. Yeah, it's too cheesy.
Yeah.
It's too cheesy for them. They're not here yet.
No, they're not.
Maybe after the wedding or something.
Yeah, it was really cheeseball. I'm like, what is up with this horrid music? And it was almost distracting at times.
Oh, yeah. At times, I didn't write it down, but there are a few times I was like, I would not have played music right now. This is not the right choice. If I was the producer, we would change this.
Now, that makes me wonder if they have like certain requirements, like how much music they have to use, how many sound effects, like are there, you know, minimums that they have to use to republish this?
Probably because it's the graphic audio and they're trying to push like the extra noise. But there are a few times I was like, you could have just like done outside noises. Although, to be fair, there were a couple times where they did that and like she's running while talking to us. And I was like, this is weird. I would rather have music than this weird pitter-patter running sound.
The pitter-patter was interesting. Like, I don't know. Yeah. I can't regurgitate that noise, but it was very interesting. I'm like, oh, is that what it sounds like to be running in the grass? I don't know. Yeah. I'm not a animal with 4 legs running, so it's hard for me to understand what that sounds like. But yeah, some of it was interesting. Actually, they could have used some lo-fi music instead of the stupid guitars and violins. I'm like, find some contemporary lo-fi music for some of these romantic scenes. That would be better.
Anything would be better.
But yeah, even with the critiques, I liked it. I enjoyed the speed of it. And actually, that's a great way to reconsume these books.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, I would not, if you've never read Moon Called for yourself or listened to the regular audiobook, I personally don't think you should jump into the graphic audio as the first method.
Same. I would definitely recommend Lorelei first and then come back and do this a second time because, one, you should listen to this book many, many times.
Yeah, definitely.
Consume it in every possible format. But yeah, no, I would do it with the graphic audio last.
Definitely.
Or read this first and then immediately go read the book. Like, that might be too slow afterward.
Yeah. But I think I do like this format better than graphic novels because I don't know, I could not really like get into the graphic novel that much. I really tried, but maybe it's the way that it's written with maybe I'm just not a picture book girl.
It was like maybe summarized. It was a different story. This is the story we know and love, even if it's been redacted a little bit. Like we know this story. We know these characters. It's exactly the same way as the book, more or less.
Yeah, because the graphic novel was even stripped down even more.
It was stripped down. It was changed. Things were altered.
So if you're gonna have to choose, I'm with Casey. I would read it first so you can get your own, because that was how we first consumed we read these books. And then I was like, well, let me try the audio. So the audiobook was next. And then I still return and read these books. But when I'm really wanting something different and unique, definitely I think the graphic audio is a good way, but only after you know the material. Otherwise, I think it will do it a disservice and you might not like it as much.
Yeah, because again, there's such a huge cast and they all pop around and we don't always have the dialogue tags for them. So if you don't know these characters, it's kind of hard to be like, who's talking right now? Why are they saying this? Why are they acting like this? I don't get it. I don't know, because again, they skimped on a lot of sentences.
They did. And this is one of those books where I swear, have you guys seen the TikToks or even the YouTube shorts where people are saying books that they wish they could read again for the first time?
Mm-hmm.
This is one of those books. Like, sometimes I wish I could really be a clean slate and start fresh. Like, I never read this before. And it's just not possible at this point. So now we have a different frame of mind and lens when we consume this stuff for this book, because like we mentioned earlier, we've read it so many times already.
All the book and all the series, the spin-off series, the Mercy series. We know so much of this world.
Yeah, well, for me, I'm already considering all the things I already know. It's kind of hard for me to just stay grounded right here when I'm already thinking about all the other things.
Yes. Yes.
Which can be hard. So, yeah. But I think that also makes me like it more because I know what's coming versus just
trying it out for the first time. Yeah.
Okay, actually, I think now would be a good time to take a quick break. We're going to check out these commercials. By listening to those, you are supporting the podcast. And don't forget to pick up a copy of the book review journal, available right now on Amazon. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Fastest break ever.
Yes.
Casey, what else is on your list? Do you have a list of things?
Not an official list, just kind of like me nitpicking.
Okay,
like
let's
some
nitpick.
of the voices did not really fit what I thought the characters were. Like Adam's voice.
Okay.
I did not like Adam's voice.
Was it too soft for you?
I guess. I don't know. Like, I know he's from Alabama. Like, I know he's a Southern boy. But there was just something about him that felt... He didn't feel like a dominant wolf, if that makes sense. And the growls. The growls are so weird. I'm sorry. Whoever was trying to do those wolf growls was not...
Wasn't hitting it for you?
In the art of the growl.
No, there are certain narrators that could do a growl really well.
Yes, and this Adam could not, which was really sad. I think that was probably my biggest disappointment. But yeah, like, I just didn't like it because that Southern would come up every once in a while. Like, it wasn't always Southern, but it would just creep in, which I know happens. Like, I have Southern family, it happens. But I don't know, like, it just didn't fit the Adam voice in my head. And I listened to a few minutes of Soul Taken because you recommended to listen to that Adam. Yes. That Adam should have been this Adam.
That's Adam. I'm like, Mercy, move over, girl. Better watch it.
Yeah.
But this one, I'm like, he all right, I guess. He's all right. He definitely, they could have picked better for him, I think. Yeah, I agree.
And Bran.
Okay, oh my God.
Like Bran either. We're not going to go too deep into this, but Bran
the voice was much older. And he was trying to sound authoritative, but also commanding, but also sounded kind of old. And I have a problem with characters sounding old when they're not supposed to be old. Now, yes, years wise, Bran is very old. He's very old, but Bran is he stopped aging young. He's young looking, young sounding.
He looks like a college student, and this is talked about all the time in every book, even in Soul Taken. He's, so bland and like a pizza delivery boy, as they often call him. And so just hearing that voice with that description of him, like bringing the sandwiches and I'm a pizza college delivery boy, whatever, like it doesn't fit in my brain. I usually picture him with like a much softer voice, and then he brings out that domineering voice when he needs to be alpha.
Yeah, he calls on it. Like, he can just turn it on and off. Like, he enjoys being passive. He enjoys being the person in the room that no one really looks at and they underestimate. And then when he puts on his alpha shirt, you know what I mean? It's like, OMG, where'd that guy come from?
Yes. No, that's exactly how I picture Bran in my head. And I kind of, I guess, wish they had flipped Adam and Bran's characters, because Adam had that soft, passive voice. And I think that's what was really bothering me, that his voice sounded that passive.
Yeah. Because he, like, there's a delicate balance for Bran. You don't want him to sound like he's a teenager, because he's not. So you don't want that squeaky teenage thing, but he's not ancient. Sounding.
Kind of more along the lines of Stefan's voice. Like, he felt younger. He felt very uplifted and funny, and, you know, hopefully that goes downhill through the series as his character arc goes downhill.
Yeah.
I hope. If I could, like, be a producer and say, hey, do this.
Exactly.
Do this in book 2 and book 3.
I think that ship has sailed.
No. The release dates are available. They're up for pre-order.
I mean, the second book is probably sitting in editing right now. They're slapping that stuff together. So, but we'll see. Actually, I wonder if I can see now who is on that one. I want to see if it's going to be, because it should be available to, what's that called? Bloodbound. Oh, they didn't add the narrators at the top yet. It just says full. Well, wait, hold on there. Nope, it just says full cast. They haven't added them yet. So,
well, hopefully they're all the same, since these are produced so fast back to back, and, you know, they're all coming out August, October, November.
So hopefully they're the same. That would be nice. Except for, I wouldn't mind if they change those couple that we talked about. Actually, let me go on the graphicaudio.net website and see if they have anything different. The same deal. They're not on here yet. So we have the producers. We have the director, who is the same.
Okay.
The adaptation is same. The starring line is not filled out yet. So, okay, they're going to make us wait.
So it'll probably be the same cast.
And the director also did the book adaptation. So they adapted the book for graphic audio. The director did the adaptation. Okay. So that's interesting to know. All the interesting things that go into that.
Yeah.
I would love to go and be able to witness how that's put together. I would love to see all the little pieces.
Amazing.
Especially how it's edited. I'm kind of nerdy about that stuff because I edit the podcast. So I would love to see like how they put all of that together. That's so interesting to me.
Cool. Absolutely. Yes. I would love to go and just talk to them.
If you're listening, Graphic Audio LLC, if you happen to be listening, we're available.
Please invite us.
Yeah.
We'll be nice and polite.
Yes, we will. We'll put on our grown-up pants. We got this. But yeah, so we have a good chance that it'll probably be the same cast. But as most, audio, I guess, actors or voice actors, I'm sure if they need to tweak something, I'm sure they could do it. They should be able to stretch their voice and make some changes.
Yes.
Hopefully.
I hope so. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, what else?
I mean, what did you think of Mercy's voice? How did she compare to Lorelai King?
She was fine, but Lorelai King was better.
Yeah.
Yeah. She didn't bother me in a negative way, but I wasn't like, oh yeah, this is Mercy. It was fine in that kind of way, which I guess is good because it wasn't a distraction.
Yeah.
Like some of the other stuff where I'm kind of like, oh, that's not quite right. So I didn't get the it's not quite right vibe, but I didn't think this should be who Mercy is everywhere. Yeah. So she did her job, What did you think?
Same. Like it was fine. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. So I wasn't I was more interested in everybody else's voices and like kind of critiquing them.
Mm-hmm.
So
I like Jessie's voice though. She sounded young enough.
yes, which was good.
Yeah, that part where she was strapped in, when they were kidnapped. I'm like, oh, that scene. And Mercy is looking at her like, shut up! Stop looking over here! Look away!
I mean, okay, so in that scene, they were making the noises with the chains and stuff. And I was like, okay, why did the one werewolf hear the slight gun pop? Or they didn't make the noise, but he's not hearing these chains move around, and like they're not thunking on the floor, but they are moving around the room.
Yeah.
So
he should be able to hear all of that.
He should have heard all of that.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess it just didn't work narratively, so he just didn't hear it. Maybe he was didn't watching. Hear it. He was too far away watching TV in that one room where the TV is.
Yes,
I guess there was enough interference for that. I don't know. Maybe he was in a different spot when he heard the other.
Maybe I don't know. It was just one of those things. I was like, okay, now that I'm like hearing the chains move around, I'm like, this is a lot louder and more frequent than that one little gun pop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. Oh, what about Z? What did you think about Z's narration?
I liked it.
Yeah, I liked it too.
I thought that fit because he always has that really strong German accent. But she describes him as like that rail thin old man with his beer gut belly, and I don't know. It sounded like that sounded like Z to me.
Yeah, I think so. I was pleasantly surprised with Z. I'm like, oh God.
Yes. He's the one with the accent that I appreciate. Like, I'm really glad Stefan didn't sound weirdly Italian forever.
I think this applies to all the supernatural or paranormal creatures in these books because they are so old, generally speaking. They should be able to just blend wherever they are because they are been everywhere and they've lived forever. So they can sound however they want to sound.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is kind of unique, but I believe it because they're so old, Like, why not move to France for 15 years and learn how to sound French?
Yes, exactly.
And then spend another 20 years in, I don't know, Russia and learn a Russian accent. I mean, you could do whatever you want when you're old as dirt. And
yeah. When you're immortal and can do what you want, live where you want. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So they can sound American without any Southern hints like Adam. He should be able to turn it off. But probably he slips into it probably here and there when he's not paying attention or...
I think that's what the actor was trying to do. But I was like, he hasn't lived in Alabama in like 50 years. Please stop.
Yeah, he's not.
This is not working. This is not my Adam.
No, he's not from Bama. He doesn't sound like that anymore. I liked most of the narration. And the sound effects were good. The sound effects were...
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
When it wasn't weird music, the rest was good.
Yeah, the sound effects were good. And none of it was too loud, which I liked. But for me, I think my listening experience was better when I had my noise canceling headphones on or earbuds, because then I could really hear like when they're driving and talking, I could really hear the road sounds and the driving sounds. And with it, when I was just listening through my phone, at times I kind of felt like, what is that noise? Where is it coming from? It didn't really sound like a part of the book. But when I had my headset on, it really felt like I was immersed in it. So for me, I think I recommend listening with headphones in.
Definitely. I listened to part of it with my headphones on, and I wish I could have listened to all of it with my headphones. But I was like, let me drive around town and listen to the audiobook while I'm running errands. And no, headphones. Listen, do a puzzle with headphones on and listen that way.
Because when you're in your car, you do have real world, road noise and everything really else, too. Which kind of cuts into, you can't really hear it that well. But it's fine for normal audiobook listening. But when you're trying to listen to this kind of stuff, definitely. I actually even had a hard time listening to this in the gym because I could hear, the clanking of of the weights and everything else. It was kind of disruptive to me and I couldn't focus. But like you said, a puzzle, a coloring book. I was sitting
something where you're quiet at home and you're not surrounded by other weird noises. So you know, okay, like this is Mercy driving, or this is Mercy working on a car, or this is Mercy running through the dirt.
Right.
Like, you want to keep that experience forefront and not be distracted by your own car or your own gym.
That makes it the best, in my opinion. And absolutely. To be honest, this was so entertaining. Like sometimes when you get different audiobooks, you know how they can lull you to sleep. This didn't happen. I was not.
No, it didn't happen. So action packed, and we're running and we're doing stuff. And I'm like, yes, I'm here for this. This is the entire story. Let's actually. Okay, speaking of, this makes me really nervous for the TV show because I'm worried they're going to cut out so much for the TV show.
Okay, so who's got the TV show rights right now?
Amazon Prime.
Amazon sucks ass. I'm sorry. Because Amazon, they...
Oh, yeah. Oh, also, okay, so My Lady Jane.
Canceled.
It has like a 97% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. People love it. It had the numbers, and it got canceled. And I went, oh, fuck.
It canceled.
They'll do one season of Mercy, fuck it up,
girl,
and then cancel it.
My Lady Jane, we talked about it one day, and it was canceled 2 days later after we recorded. And I'm like, damn, they didn't even give it like 2 months before they canceled it.
They canceled it right away, and people loved that show.
Where people were outraged on Twitter and everything.
I saw petitions. I saw like thousands of people commenting saying, I want more. Why did they cancel? The show wasn't complete, which it was not. Like
they could have did one more.
And seeing that, I'm like, oh fuck.
They're going to cancel because it's like it needs to be a blockbuster out the gate immediately, like within 48 hours. Yeah, like as soon as it drops, everyone and their mother better be watching this show or it's going to get canceled. And that's why I kind of wish they would push it off, like let another sell the rights to another company. Yeah. I would be leery of Netflix too. Their cancel game has been strong lately. They cancel shit left and right. But maybe, I don't know, let HBO usually give shit more than one season. Let HBO take a turn.
Well, HBO did me dirty with Our Flag Means Death, so I'm kind of like anti-HBO right now.
Okay, well, even Hulu. Give Hulu a chance at it. Hulu stuff has been pretty good. I don't know, just anybody, but
anybody else. But
Amazon,
as soon as they canceled that, and then here, I'm like, they're going to cut so much out of the story. Yeah. Hopefully they can bring in Charles and Anna, because, Leo's all involved with this, and I'm worried.
I'm worried too. I'm not sure. I almost feel like they shouldn't do it. Yeah. Just drop it. Shelve it.
I mean, it's been over a year since we heard any last update, and that's normal for TV shows.
Yeah.
But, oh God, I
Nick
hope
is still being rewrites. Who knows? They may not just have the flavor right yet. They might not just like it yet. So I don't even think they started even casting for it yet.
I think so.
Yeah. It's just, I know it's been acquired, but I don't know how active they are with it.
Yeah. And they're not saying anything in the Facebook groups because... what can they update us with? Oh, it's rewrites. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. Like, and they're not going to tell us what's going on.
Yeah, I feel like if they're smart, because of how Amazon has been doing, if you're going to try this, complete this book in one season, like do Moon Called for one season, finish it.
But even that, like this book is so tiny. I would do Moon Called and then Anna and Charles's novella.
Oh, they could. But they tried to blend the books on Netflix and it failed. They blended the Leah. Yeah, the Libra go. Yeah, Six of Crows and what's it call it? They blended those and it didn't really hit. The first season was good, but people were like, ugh, after that.
I mean, the fans were dedicated. I did not like the books, so I didn't even watch season 2.
I didn't watch it. I tried to start it, and I was like, nah, I'm not into this. I'm not feeling it. And I didn't finish. And it got canceled.
There were lots of petitions around that one too when it got canceled. Like, people are pissed.
Yeah.
People are pissed in general that Amazon, Netflix, everybody, they'll give us one season and then cancel it, or give us 2 seasons and then cancel it. And people are like, how are we supposed to stay invested in any TV show if you just keep canceling it?
See, I feel like, and I know this is not fair to the creators, but sometimes I feel like this book is the type of book that would be done dirty, like The Mortal Instruments, like The Vampire Academy. They couldn't do it right. They couldn't do the movies right, and they couldn't do the TV show right. They couldn't do it.
Yeah.
They failed twice over.
Yep.
And I feel like this is the style of book that is in that category. Well, it would be, I don't know how they can pull it off.
Yeah.
So...
Which sucks. This is my favorite. I love this book. I love this series.
Yeah, I agree. It would be amazing, but I just don't feel like it's in them to get it done correctly.
It's not.
So,
oh, I'm so sad. Okay.
I know. So we got to just enjoy our little graphic audio. It's the closest thing we're going to get to anything that's live action, because I don't think it's going to make it to screen. I don't.
I hope not. Yeah. I am keeping my fingers and toes crossed that it does not go to screen. Like, same for all of Alona Andrews stuff. They get optioned all the time and it never makes it. I'm like, I'm glad it doesn't.
Because they don't know how to adapt it without a massive budget. That's the problem. They want to make these books for cheap, and you can't do it right without spending a boatload of money.
Yes.
And they're like, they want instant gratification, instant, return on investment on these things. And if it doesn't happen, it's canceled immediately.
Which freaking sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, which goes to show they're out for the money, not for the fan service.
Not for the art, not for the fans, not for storytelling or longevity of enjoyment of any show.
Oh, well. In the meantime, I'm sticking to the graphic audio. So I will listen to the next one. Will you listen to the next one?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
No,
yay!
I'm really excited for the next one. I'm really curious to see how he plays Stefan, and hopefully, like, shit hits the fan. So hopefully he gets darker and less cheerful.
Yeah.
But I always saw Stefan as really, like, happy in book 1. So
yeah, I guess he is the happiest he's ever going to be.
Yeah, this is the happiest he's ever going to be.
Yeah.
And it just gets worse for him.
And Bloodbound comes out October 4th, which is actually perfect timing. Like for
Halloween.
Yeah, it's perfect timing. So I'll add that to my October list, because I can always count on these as a feel good.
Oh, yes.
Palate cleanser. I'm always going to like it no matter what. No matter what awful things I'm reading, I can come back, and this will be a success no matter what.
Absolutely, yes.
Like you can count on it, like a soft blanket and a warm coffee. It's like comforting.
Yes. When I'm having a bad day, I read Mercy.
Okay. Well, should we rate this as itself
itself? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll let you go first.
I'm going to give it 4 stars as itself. Like, it's really good. I have some nitpicky points. Some voices didn't work for me. I didn't like that they cut so much out, like 2 hours worth of story. That's a lot.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I really enjoyed it. It was Mercy. It was, Mercy in a new format, and I really liked that. And I might listen to it again one day, or I'll definitely listen to book 2 next month.
Okay.
So 4 stars.
So I'm with you. 4 stars. It could be better. Stretch goals, y'all. You can make it better. You can be better. It's good, but
it's good. It's not perfect, but it's good.
It's good. It's a solid start.
Yes.
It can get better. I think the more that these actors get comfortable with these characters, the more they get to know them, the more the story delves in. I feel like I can see a slight transformation possible as the series goes on. And
absolutely, me too.
It's a good time. And again, I totally recommend this if you've already read it in some type of way before listening to the graphic audio.
Yes.
But yeah, it's a good time. Yay!
Yay!
I love it. And actually, I love that your experience was much better this time around.
Yes. I apologize again for that first recommendation.
No, it's okay because, I know that's one of your favorite authors. So we just assumed it would be fine.
Yes.
And neither one of us read that before. We hadn't read it.
No, it was a brand new book, a beloved author, but brand new book.
And it was rough.
It was rough. This is so much better. So.
Yeah. Which supports the don't be brand new.
Yes. Yeah. Don't be brand new.
Yeah. Because I think that would apply. I would never, ever listen to graphic audio without knowing the material first.
Yeah. No.
Take that to the bank. Trust us.
Trust us. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's it. Do you have anything else?
That's it for me.
Okay, yeah, I think it was a fun chat, fun experience. If you have listened to the graphic audio of Moon Called and you plan on listening to more, let us know. Leave us a comment. Let us know if you liked it as much as we did. Did you like it more or less than the regular audiobook? Let me know that too. Because, I'm nosy.
Why not?
Yeah, I want to know. All right, we are done for today, guys. Thanks so much for listening to the entire episode. We appreciate you for doing that. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this with other Mercy Thompson fans, and we'll catch you next time. Take care of yourselves. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Did you enjoy today's episode? If so, please head over to Apple Podcast or Spotify and leave a positive 5-star review. It's a simple action that makes a big difference. You can also like this episode on your favorite podcast player or share it with your fellow bookworm friends on social media. Joining the Shelf Addiction Patreon family is another way to support us. For as little as $2 a month, you can help our team create even more amazing bookish content. If Patreon isn't your thing, consider becoming a supporter on the Spreaker app for just $5 a month and gain access to exclusive audio-only content. You can find me everywhere, including Instagram, X, and TikTok under the handle Shelf Addiction. Join our book club of the same name on the book club's website and app, where we discuss all things bookish and more in a safe space. The Shelf Addiction podcast is a part of the Nerdy Maven Network. Thanks for tuning in.